Hi, everybody. Megan here, the Healing Foods Coach. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're enjoying your August so far. Truly, it is the 21st. Wow, time is going by so quickly. Today's video topic is all about how to stay low carb, keto, or carnivore when we are feeling the stresses of life. Because let's be honest, whether we are already on this journey, whether we are just considering starting this journey, we can both, I think, agree that life challenges, and we all have them, are main trigger points for our food binges, for craving those addictive junk foods as a way of trying to cope with our situations. Now, if you've given in, I don't want you to feel guilty. I don't want you to feel judged because you're not judged. But hopefully, this video will help you take steps to start to go past that because I've been known to do it in my past. I've been known to do it even relatively recently. Luckily, I've not made the decision to give in, but I have been tempted, and I know we all get tempted. So even somebody who hasn't been on a standard diet for years, who maybe has been low carb, keto, or carnivore for a while, when we are faced with enough stress, we can still have the triggers to suddenly have cravings come back. It does happen. And anyone who tells you that they are never, ever, ever, ever tempted or even remotely is probably not being completely honest with you. Okay. When we are going through our plan, so what can cause our stressful triggers? Well, all kinds of things. We could be trying to find a job. We could be in a job that has suddenly got new responsibilities that requires us to go back and do some new training, or we're doing something different than we've done before. That can cause us anxiety and stress. Doesn't even have to be major levels of it, but that can cause anxiety and stress. The joy, but the also stress of becoming a new parent, whether you're the mom or the dad. There is stress involved because you have to get your home prepared. You have to get everything you need for the baby that's going to be coming. You don't know yet if it's going to be easy or hard or what's going to happen, what your sleep's going to be like. You're excited, but it still brings some stress. You might already be a parent. Perhaps you have young children, toddlers, or very young children just starting nursery or kindergarten in other parts of the world. And that's a whole other set of challenges, meeting their needs, their sleep schedule. And you love it, and hopefully your child is developing well, and they don't have any sort of health conditions or developmental delays. But that's still a stressful time. Why? Because your life as a human, as an adult, is not your own anymore. You now have this young person that you are responsible for feeding and teaching and training and caring for. And even more so if your child has any sort of special need, whether it's physical or mental disabilities. Okay, then you get through the school age years and you suddenly get whacked into the teen years, and that's a whole other level of stress. Those of you who have currently, or maybe you have grown children, you remember those teen years, and when you get past them, you can look back with fondness and humor. But let's be honest, during that time, you suddenly are trying to communicate with what appears to be an alien in your house. That's a stressful period for both the teenagers and the parents. Perhaps you are empty nesters or almost empty nesters where you have grown children. They may be at home for the moment, but they're probably working or paying rent, contributing towards the rent, or they may have moved out fully. And that's a whole other stress because now, you develop, I think more so, especially for moms, we develop this identity of, yes, I'm an adult, I'm a person, but I'm so-and-so's mom. You're looking after, making sure their schoolwork is looked after, making sure they're sorted for their school uniforms or school clothing, again, depending where you live. And then all of a sudden, they're grown up. And if they've moved out, or maybe they're adults, but they're at university or away for college, your role becomes diminished. And that's a new stress. And we don't maybe think of it as a time of stress, but it is a stress because it's a change. Maybe you're about to move to a new city or just to a new home, whether you rent or buy. And so you're going now through the stress of getting all the forms completed. You need to get all of your details. So your water, your electrics, your council tax over here, at least in the UK. Any of the things that you need to do, telling your bank, and you're getting your license updated, all of that information that requires you to provide a home address, you now have to update. And that's a pain. I've done it many, many times in my life. It's annoying. Okay, it's a requirement, but it's annoying. So that can be a bit stressful. Never mind packing up all your stuff, sorting through your belongings. What are you going to keep? What are you going to get rid of? What are you going to give away? Do you actually need to take the photos that you have of your child or of yourself as a child when you were 2 years old? Do you actually need them in a photo album? Can you store them? Things like that, little nitpicky things, but things that can add a bit of stress because you have to move to this new property and then you go through the process of unpacking everything and putting it in its rightful place. So that can cause stress. Of course, perhaps you are at the beginning of a brand new relationship and you want to be on your best behavior and you want to put your best foot forward. So there's a bit of stress in making sure that you are the best possible version of yourself because you like this person and you want this relationship to work out. Maybe you've been with somebody for a very long time and you're going through the stress of perhaps the relationship is ending. Maybe you're going through the stress of getting either a diagnosis of a terminal illness for yourself or you've been told by a loved one that they've been diagnosed with something terminal. Perhaps they've died from something terminal. All of these are stresses that happen through our life at some point. For them, maybe not always a terminal diagnosis, but we have parents that age and eventually will die, and we go through the emotions of that. As we ourselves get older, we face our own mortality, of course. We may already have our own existing health conditions. Perhaps we're dealing with the stress of disordered eating or an eating disorder, and we are trying to get on top of it and starting a new pattern with keto, low carb, or carnivore. And we want to make the changes, but it's very difficult to get past the mentality behind an eating disorder. I say that because I suffered with my own challenges with bulimia for over 30 years. Okay, and I know many people can as well. So that's a possible stressor. We may simply be dealing with a change in the season. Some people really do suffer with seasonal affective disorders. So when the sun is out and the weather's nice and through spring and summer, we feel more positive. But these people can be facing the challenges of severe depression when the weather gets colder, when the skies get darker, when we have less sunlight through the fall and winter months. And that is a thing. So we may have our own mental health struggles. Just in general, we may deal with physical challenges. There's so many things that can cause us stress and anxiety, or to have the desire to comfort eat. And the only thing I could suggest or say, because this is what I have to tell myself, is during those times of stress, whatever the cause may be, eating the pizza, the popcorn, the ice cream, having all the extra glasses of beer or wine, the sweets or the candy, whatever our thing is, will not actually change the situation that is causing us this stress or discomfort. It will perhaps make us feel better for a few minutes while we shovel it down quickly and binge it, and even maybe for a few minutes after we've eaten it. But the reality is, our beloved family or friend will still have a cancer diagnosis. Our children will still be, challenging us as teens, or, we will still feel the impact of them being grown up and no longer living in the house. And it's just us having to learn how to adult and speak to our partners or spouses as adults without children involved. The stress of the change that's coming from work environment, whether it's having to learn a new skill at our current job or start a new job, that won't go away. And when I've given in, all I have resulted in after the fact is feeling sick and bloated, guilty, yes, but more so feeling the actual pain and inflammation of eating the things that caused me the problem in the first place. How do we get past that? There is no one single answer that fits everybody, of course, because we're all different. And you may be well on your low carb, keto, or carnivore journey, and hopefully, if you are, you've already got your own sort of top 10 list of things that help you through those cravings and those trigger moments. To maybe physically get up and take a small walk, to get outside for fresh air if you can. Even if it's raining, stepping outside, stepping away from where the food is. Not putting it in your house to start with, hopefully. But you may be like me. When I got the bad news a couple of weeks ago that a beloved family member who I was very close to had died, my first thought was I want to go out and find the largest cappuccino I can find. Now, I don't do caffeine because caffeine is horrible for my IBS, and I can't do dairy because I'm lactose intolerant. But I was at the moment briefly where I was ready to say, oh, screw it. This is hard. This is sad. I need something. Now, luckily, I didn't give in. I took a bit of a walk around. I realized I would just feel unwell, and it wouldn't change the fact that this had happened. And I know that's not easy to get to right away. I know that takes practice and training. So if you don't succeed and ignoring the cravings or the triggers initially, that's okay. Please, no judgment. Keep it going, stay strong, and keep trying, because the thing is you'll learn how to build up those skills, right? So you may be able to do some deep breathing. You may be able to step away for a little bit and go, you know what? Let me take a moment to meditate. For some people, if you're a Christian or have other faith where prayer is involved, take a moment, maybe say a quick prayer. Something to distract your mind, something to remind you that, no, listen, this is not going to change the situation. I'm not going to necessarily feel any better. In fact, if I eat this, it will probably just make me want to binge, and then I'll feel guilty, and I will probably feel physically unwell. And that helped me. So I don't have a sudden quick answer to say, actually, you know what? If you go ahead and do all these steps, it'll fix it right away. It may not. Different stressors cause different responses in different people. However, hopefully it will help to think, look, I've been through physical stress, mental health stress. Yes, been there. Absolutely. Stresses at work. Yes. The death of a loved one just recently happened. And I say that simply because I don't want people to think, oh, I'm perfect and I'm completely okay and everything's fine. But every day does get a little bit better. Okay. And so I say that only to say that I can understand. I can relate if you're going through something like that. But I also know that giving into the processed junk food and the sugars and the carbs isn't going to change the situation. In many cases, if not every case, eating that stuff will just it used to make me feel even more anxious and more stressed out. It didn't actually help. And then I felt guilty for eating it. So I would just say it is hard. It can be hard. And I have really not struggled with cravings for 4 years. I really haven't. But when my family member, when we got the confirmation that this person had died, this person that I was very close to had died, my first instinct was to go out and binge on caffeine with foamy milk and chocolate sprinkles and whatever else I could get my hands on. I was half a second tempted to get an ice cream. Now, I didn't. Okay. And again, for me, it was just a fleeting moment. It passed. And I went on and I had, I think I had a burger patty instead, if I recall correctly. Anyways, it's trying to plan for acceptable substitutions for those stressful times. Okay. And again, you might give in from time to time. It's just learning about how to deal with it better the next time. And each time you get a little bit closer to managing the cravings better and getting over those triggers better, in spite of anxiety and stressful situations, because they happen throughout life. We all have them. They're going to happen. And maybe this will help, just to remember that eating the junk may give you very, very brief, temporary feeling of comfort. But let's be honest, it can often lead to a binge, which you're going to feel sick about after, perhaps literally feel unwell or guilty, and it doesn't change the stress in the first place, right? So if you can, get out there, stock your fridge or cupboards with suitable replacement snacks, so that when you're craving ice cream, perhaps what you can substitute with is a bowl full of berries. I know it's not the same, but trust me, the impact of the berries is far less than that of the ice cream. And you're trying to train your body and your brain to look for alternatives that are going to be more helpful, right, than eating the crap that's going to make you feel bad to begin with. So just a thought. Try other things. Try drinking water. Try taking a bit of a walk if you can. Get some fresh air. Practice some deep breathing techniques. Try some meditation or prayer to help you in that moment. And if you still give in, don't beat yourself up. But with the next time you feel that way, try to come up with another substitute. It's about progress, but definitely not about perfection. So it is very possible to retrain your brain, to manage your cravings and overcome your triggers so that you are not giving in every single time. So that when life happens, when stress happens, when you are feeling anxious or terrible news comes or bad things happen or life just happens, you're learning how to deal with it in a healthy way, hopefully, and your cravings will become less and less. The triggers will have less of an impact so that eventually they don't sway you. And you can start to tell yourself, hey, wait a minute, I think I want the ice cream, but I know I don't actually want it because A, I'm lactose intolerant or whatever the case might be, and B, I'm just going to feel bad after. Let me go ahead and have some deli meats and cheese. Let me go ahead and have a nice cup of coffee without all the sugary add-ons. Let me go enjoy a nice glass of water. Let me step away. Let me take a short walk. Let me clear my head. Let me meditate. Let me, whatever it is that helps you get through that moment, because that will then help you empower yourself. And I don't know, me, when I am going through something stressful, but I don't give in with the junky, carby crap, that's a victory. I feel that victory. And I hope you guys do too, because some of these cravings, some of these triggers are stronger than others. And it's not easy, but it is possible. So anyway, sorry guys. I'm hoping that's helpful. I know it's a bit of a long one, but I do hope it's helpful for you. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Appreciate all your support and love. All the best. I will have some more short content as I go, but I really wanted to share that with you guys today. So hope it helps. Take care. See you in the next video. Bye for now.